an iOS developer. He's the host of NSBrief. He wrote Magical Record for iOS and Mac. Saul Mora.
Oh, hello. Is this on? Mic check. There we go. All right, excellent. All right. Hi, I'm Saul. Just want to introduce myself a little bit here first. I do this Magical Panda thing. If you've seen anything that is magical, that is all my doing. So you can credit me, and I'll take all the credit. It's awesome. It's all right. I'm an indie iOS developer, and I have products out here. So I'm going to also hawk a product. So I just wrote this the other day and released it. So go to this URL and download that. Help out an indie. It's awesome. All right, thanks. So, like I mentioned, I'm an indie developer, and the life of an indie is pretty crazy. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of benefits for being an indie. I don't know, how many are indie developers here? Like, just, you don't have a job, you don't report to the man. I know those two. It was about half of you guys. So half of you guys are in the same boat as I am, where you have to do everything, and you don't have a schedule. You have a lot of benefits. You don't have a commute. As some of the benefits for you indies is not having a commute, like maybe the thing that motivated you, or one of the things that you really like about being an indie. That's one of my favorites. So one of the other things that's really awesome is that I get to spend time with my kids. These guys, they take up a lot of my time these days. Sometimes a little bit too much, but then again, it's something that reminds me that I need to not work. As an indie developer, I have to do everything, which means I tend to basically work from sun up to sundown, or the moment I wake up, it's check the email so that I can get stuff done, to the moment that I go to bed and I'm still checking email or taking care of something, or writing some code, or publishing a website, whatever I need to do to be successful as an independent developer. There are a lot of other benefits that I have kind of be afforded as an indie developer, is doing the podcast. NSBrief is something that I do. A lot of people seem to enjoy the podcast. They talk to a lot of interesting people. This is another great benefit of being independent. I don't have to get permission from somebody to do something that I think is great and do it well. The podcast is definitely a good resource for you out there. So yeah, all right. So one of the other things that I do as an independent developer is write this guy, Magical Record. If you use core data, codes, that's fun. But the thing is, I get to make the choice that this thing is important. It's something worthwhile for me to do. And that's an important thing for me as an independent person. I get to make these decisions on my own. But I didn't want to talk about all of those things. What I wanted to talk about was just kind of life in general. I wouldn't say I've been going through tough times, but time and again you have inflection points in your career. You come up against decisions or choices you need to make, and I've been thinking about a lot of crazy things. So the rest of this is about just a lot of the things that have been floating through my head. This will probably seem fairly random, and that's because it's still fairly random in my head. But hopefully I put these things in some kind of coherent order so we can all follow along together. As an independent developer, like I said, I always consider myself most fortunate to be able to live this kind of life. When I think about the kinds of people that don't have this position of being able to come to San Francisco, plunk down $1,600 on a WWDC, plunk down a couple of $1,000s on a new Mac every other year or so. These are very special privileges that we have as independent developers, as developers at all. We're in a very unique minority in the world. And I always consider myself fortunate, and it's something that I always need to keep in mind. And that means that, yeah, we have the money to do these things, but, the other thing is I don't try to focus on the money. There we go. So, more money, more problems. I don't focus on that. That's not my goal of being an indie. I'm really jaded about the whole Silicon Valley venture-funded thing that goes on here in San Francisco. It's not my cup of tea. Yeah, I could probably, with my skill set and my knowledge and experience in industry, I could probably come out here, get a job, and get a lot of that money. I could be one of these millionaire peoples of Twitter and they get their stock, or the Facebook people and get stock. That's not my focus. Money is not the focus. There are much more important things in life than money. Again, switching on to the next random topic. We're all in this together, right? So, I've seen a lot of, especially in America here in general, there's a lot of individualism. It's a core value of the U.S. But the thing is, people seem to forget that we are in this together. The things that you do somehow get to affect things that I want to do. And the same thing goes for me. Things that I want to do affect you. I'm affecting you right now by just standing here and talking. So, we are in this together. And it goes beyond, our own little circles, goes beyond the iOS, Mac, Cocoa developer community. It goes a lot further. We have the power to influence the world, but we have, our circles of influence grow as we get more known and we get more interweb followers. Hey, video interweb people. So, I just tossed this up there just because I thought it was cool. Will Wheaton is pretty awesome. And I like having my Twitter icon next to Will Wheaton's Twitter icon. Makes me feel important. But yeah, I thought this was really true and appropriate. So this is part of that. We are in this together. This is part of the thing about America, is that we do focus on the guns and religion and the whatever, and we don't focus on taking care of each other. So yeah, we're in this together. And while we're taking care of each other, we do need to take care of yourself first, right? So I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic for more than half of my life. Only recently, last year, I went to the doctor, did my blood work, did all the numbers. If you know anything about an A1C, hemoglobin A1C, you'll know what the appropriate ranges are for diabetics and non-diabetics. For the number we want to hit is 10, is a 6. Now I went and got my blood work and I had a 10, and that's bad. 10 is if you're missing your pills or shots or whatever, you might get up to 7 or 8. 10 is the doctor was really scared, and so immediately shots, full all the stuff that you need to do to kind of get back to normal. So you do need to take care of yourself, and I had. As an indie, I had stopped taking care of myself. I had kind of thought I had conquered this thing. I had, for a while I was cycling all over the place and I was super fit. And I thought I'd conquered diabetes. I'm done with this thing, even though it invaded my life without my permission. It crept back in when I least wanted it. And I'm lucky that it's not such a hindrance at this point that I can manage it, but it's still something you need to take care of. So this is something that's near and dear to my heart, is to tell everybody, take care of your health. I mean, you only have one body. You can't replace this thing. This is your vessel. This is how the world sees you, and this is how you interact with the world. You need to take care of it. So it's really important to me, and I hope it's important to you. So I just kind of want to put a friendly reminder out there. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was values, because as an indie, I became an indie because I found that the values that I had didn't agree with certain places that I went. As far as work, I got out of college, and as a naive young college graduate, I joined a company, a few of them you might know of, but I won't mention them here. But they're pretty big. Well, I'll mention one. But I thought that that's what I was supposed to do back then, and quickly realized that the things that I think are important weren't necessarily the things that the company thought was important. On a technical level, writing good code, that wasn't important to certain companies, right? On a personal level, helping out our communities, that was not important to certain companies, and that was a problem. And that's the thing is, what I've realized as an indie is that my values define me, and they're actually really important. And there's something that, as you go through from company to company, you should identify and look at what your values are. Think about what's important to you, and what how others kind of perceive those and respect those. So definitely keep an eye on those. I will say that some of my values and passions go beyond technology. I do enjoy the nerdiness that we've had all week. I do enjoy the beers that we've had all week. Those are not values that I would espouse here. But one of my favorite values, one of the things I've always enjoyed, is teaching kids. I took this picture, well, somebody took this picture of me when I was working at Intel. I worked at Intel in Phoenix. I was doing C# work, whatever. It was really awesome when I found out that Intel promotes this engineering day that they do every year. They tell anybody who wants to volunteer to go ahead and sign up for teaching a class, teaching groups. I would also do some other stuff outside of Intel, but this got me into it. I didn't know how much I liked it until I started doing stuff like this. This was a group of kindergartners in a low-income school in the Phoenix area. And I still remember, like, you see this little boy over here. It's so funny. Like, I'm sitting cross-legged right here, but I remember this guy. He was hilarious. I don't know, for some reason, he started smelling my pants. It was odd. But then he just looked at me and he's like, "Your pants smell good." I'm like, "That's good to know. Thank you." It's hilarious. But it was great because these kids are so excited. They're sponges. They want to absorb anything that you have to tell them. They love the attention, and they love that I was visiting them. And it's always been something fun that I love to do, just because their reaction, it powers me. It's something that I've always enjoyed. So much that I do this now still at my kids' school. This is my daughter over here, and this is my kids' elementary school. And what I did was I just said, "Hey, one of the teachers, the technology teacher," yeah, that's a whole other thing. But the technology teacher was like, I went and asked her one day, "Hey, what if we had like a programming club or something?" And she's like, "Great, let's do it." So I started this. I was looking at my emails. It was like 2.5 years ago. I still kind of don't know what I'm doing, but it's so much fun. Yeah, it's great that I get to teach kids about something that I enjoy, technically, the programming, the computers, the history of computers. I tell them about all the famous people. I try to motivate the girls to say, "Hey, you can be a computer programmer. Computers are not just for boys." I love being able to do this. And, this is one of those values that this really invigorates me. So it's something that is an example to help find something that you really enjoy. Continuing on from the programming, though, this coming year I will actually be volunteering doing the First LEGO League. First LEGO League typically does not have a lot of elementary schools, but our elementary school has one, so I decided to help coach it. So, another adventure, another thing to learn, and that's another one of my values is learning and teaching, and teaching kids. It's always a lot of fun. But it also informs me, when the times get rough, when I do need to go out and find a job, or find some other sources of income, because again, I've got to take care of myself, got to take care of my family, right? That's the first thing comes first. Having these values informs me what I should be doing. So that's why I've been teaching with the Big Nerd Ranch recently. So I've been on there as a contract instructor. It's a lot of fun. It's a different level of value of teaching, and it's not teaching kids, it's teaching adults. It's in passing on that knowledge and also learning by learning through my students. But it's a lot of fun, and it's values that you can take with you wherever you go. Ask yourself the hard questions. There are a lot of hard questions in life, and I don't have them all. Some of the ones that I ask myself is, will this all matter when I'm gone? It's a serious question. Am I doing stuff that I care about? Should I be doing something else? Am I in the right career? Should I get a job? There are a lot of hard questions in life, and it's worth the time and effort to just ask these of yourself. I don't have all the answers. I'm sure none of you have all the answers, but they're worth asking because you explore areas of yourself that you never thought to do so in the first place because you never asked the question. It's that rule of asking why 5 times. If you ask, why do you need to get a job? Well, because I need money. Well, why do I need money? Even going just three whys into it gets you into, well, why do I need money? So I can buy food. This gets you into really why you need to get a job, if you need to get a job at all. This is what kind of led me down the path of like, well, it's okay to go indie. I can get money. I can do work. I don't have to just sell out or whatever term you may want to use, but trade your time and services for a job and for security of income. So, yes, again, these are random thoughts. Anyway, do what matters to you, because what matters to you, and when you do it, it will be awesome because you care about it. So that's why you ask yourselves the hard questions, so you can know that you're doing the right thing, at least for the time being, because that also might change. Life moves on. Nothing motivates you like deadlines. Deadline for this talk was now. Nothing motivated me more than the last couple of hours is preparing these slides, which are still random. So it's another thing, words of advice. There will never be enough time, and there will never be enough money. These things come and go. You have to learn how to manage it well, and again, I don't know how to manage this well. If there's anybody who can help me manage my time better, please talk to me afterwards, because I suck at this. But these are things that I think about. How do I do this better? How do I manage this? Another thing, be the change you want to see in the world. I love this quote. I'm pretty sure it's from Gandhi, the one that we know about. But yeah, be the change you want to see in the world. Again, this goes back to the values and all the things that you see wrong with America and whatever. Do the things that lead by example, and that's something I've always tried to do from when I used to work way back in the day in fast food, and I became like a little manager person. Lead by example. I know I got a lot of comments back then that they didn't see other managers doing the things that I would do to help out just the regular crew, but it's still important to lead by example because people need that. You need that, they need that. So it's interesting to go down that. And we see that with technology. We see this whole week, the signs out at Moscone Center. Write the code, change the world. I used to actually joke on my Facebook profile way back in the day. I write code change the world, ergo I can change the world. But it's actually really true. Computers, technology, this is all it's permeating the world. It's all over the place. It's ubiquitous these days. Writing code, we have the ultimate power as developers to do these kinds of things. So we can change the world in subtle ways. One of the ways is by writing apps, and one example is an app that I wrote a while ago. It's called Rocket Keys. It's not that great from maybe your abled body perspective. It is a keyboard that does text-to-speech. You might be thinking, great, iOS does this already. But this app actually lets you configure keyboard layouts, change the key sizes, make them bigger, make them smaller, add custom phrases and words, and do all kinds of different things so that non-fully able people can use an iPad to communicate. If you don't have full motor control of all your digits, maybe you just have your hand that you can push onto the screen to tap big buttons. That still makes all the difference in the world to these people that don't have the physical capabilities that we do. Little things like that are very positive things that contribute to they're positive changes to the world that I like to help contribute to. So, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. Her name is Kelly. I knew Kelly in high school. We took economics together. That was one of, economics in high school. That was one of the classes I remember her most from. We used to sit in the back and kind of mess around. It's interesting. She's a really smart girl. She had MS. She's had that as long as I've known her. She's always was driving around in a little cart just because she wasn't fully abled. But she was a Rhodes Scholar. One thing about my high school is that in Tucson, it's a weird high school by any means, any measure. It was 100% graduation rate. Everybody was expected to graduate from high school. The graduating class was about 200. The top 50% of the class went on to the high-level Ivy League type of schools, MIT, Stanford, Harvard. And then the dumbasses like myself went to the local University of Arizona back in Tucson. But everybody finished school. And she was a Rhodes Scholar, so she still went to the university that I did. She had all expenses paid. She got a lot of trips. She got a lot of things because of her smartness. We look at her Facebook page some more. She started her own foundation. She worked in the Clinton White House as a volunteer coordinator. She was the director of the department. she's really smart. But on March 23rd, she died. She's only 37. She did a lot of stuff in her life. She's pretty inspirational to me even now. I think about her a lot, especially since her death. But it just means that, sometimes it takes a death to make you remember to live. So, anyhow, moving on. I do enjoy life. I do the things that matter. I do try to remember what matters. And what matters is not the money. It's not the technology. It's not all the tools. Not all this stuff. It's the people you meet along the way. I've met a lot of you in the audience. I know a lot of you that are staring back at me now, and it's great to see you here. But you guys are the reason that I do this stuff. The reason that I do all the things that I do, from the open source to the podcasting to even the work that I do, all the talks. I enjoy meeting the people. The people are what make this adventure worth living. So I'll leave it at that with some final words. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Thanks. So we've got about 5 minutes. We can open up for discussions, questions, I don't know, something.
Are you going to put your MagicalRecord software into Swift?
Going the
Let's
technical
talk
route.
tech here for a minute.
Let's talk tech. I have not decided what to do with that yet. I did see somebody port that over to use in Swift, and the code looked hideous. The core data framework has not changed as much, so I will most likely be I'll definitely be looking at it. I will probably be changing up the way that the library, the API works, to be a little bit more Swift friendly. But I don't know what that looks like yet because I haven't looked at Swift in full detail yet.
So you're an indie, and you have some stuff you're working on which makes you money right now, and there's other stuff that doesn't make you money right now, but you're doing because one day it might. And there's other stuff that will never make you money. I'm sure you have people asking you to help them with things. How do you prioritize and decide what to work on each day?
Well, what I get to, I think it really depends on the values. And even then, I don't think I get that right either. A lot of times I get sucked into the whole tech programming, whatever that was. I get sucked into the whole tech programming kind of thing. And, I go down the rabbit hole of implementing a lot of crazy stuff in the code, but it doesn't end up, finishing the app. But I don't really have an answer that I think would really suffice because I'm still figuring this stuff out. I don't pretend to have any answers. I'm kind of here posing questions, actually. As far as a system goes to organize my time, which is the follow-on comment, is that what I've been trying to do is put things in just a calendar, and I'll have many calendars, and I'll just kind of collect stuff there. I've got a little collection of notes that things that I want to do need to be done. I've also got, beyond that, just kind of higher level thoughts in my head of things I'd like to do. Like, I'd like to get back to playing the cello again. I'd like to go back and ride my bike. I'd like to pick up learning Mandarin Chinese again. All these things that I have done in the past, I'd like to do. Those are just kind of, they float. But for the more immediate things, it's more, let's put this in a calendar. Let's get a date on this. Let's be able to have basically a checklist and a target time, like the deadlines. The deadlines are important. Having a specified scheduled time really helps me figure that out. When I do figure out the actual thing that I need to do, putting it in the calendar really helps me to aim for that and make it easier. Got a couple more over there.
First of all, thank you for doing NSBrief. It's a great resource, and it inspired me to start my own podcast. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
My question is, did you ever regret to become an indie? Is there anything, like financial risk or anything?
Well, see, and that's the thing, is like, I see the money that's out there. There's gobs of money, especially out here. And you see that, and you can't help but, be tempted by it. It's just human nature at this point. Money is what makes the world go round these days, and it's certainly tempting. As far as regret, I don't think there's regret. It's really, it's going back to the values. The values inform what I try to do in order to be able to have enough money so that I can do the things that I want to do, and not hurt others. I want to help others instead. So those values really help me define whether or not I should regret following up on things. I've looked at other leads of other things that do match my values, and as I've grown through my career, I have become more picky about the companies that I'll even talk to. I'm not just going to talk to any startup or any company, whether I can work with them. It's, do you guys do things that I think will benefit? Match. Does your values as a company match mine? And those are the regrets that I have more rather than the money. Obviously I've learned to save up money over the course of my history, so I don't have to worry about it so much. But that's a different skill and a different problem. So hopefully that answers your question.
Hi.
Hello. Person I know.
I'm not an indie at the moment, but I kind of function as one since I'm a solo remote developer, pretty much in charge of all my own time. And the thing that struck me about what you're saying is, and that's, I suppose, the key thing for me, is that I try and divide my time between my work and then my family. And the thing that tends to suffer is the me. Because the sort of extra time that I would beg for hobbies as such, or for exercising, or for learning musical instruments or whatever, tends to get sucked up in programming and spending extra hours at work. So how do you try and carve that time out for yourself? What do you do to make sure you get some time to do something that isn't just, there's a kind of work-life balance, but there's also this third leg of the stool, really, that doesn't get a lot of attention?
Yeah, so amazingly, my family has helped me with this a little bit. One of the many activities that my daughters do is swim team, and in order for her to make it to swim team, I am the designated driver, and the swim team is actually at a gym. So that as far as like taking care of yourself, I've also recognized that time away is actually important. It's productive time. So I rush, deadlines again. I rush to get stuff done before the 5 o'clock deadline that I've got to take her to swim team, and then go do my own exercise. Because while I'm there, I'm trapped at a gym. Well, what should I do? Exercise. Hey, how does that work? Right? So there's, your family will help. That your family definitely cares about you. They want you to be healthy. They want you to be around. But what I've also found is, I think, going back to the calendar thing, is putting stuff on your calendar, making the time physically on your calendar, blocking that time off. That's what's helped me so far. And I'm really sporadic, and I've only found that having a calendar has been the one thing that actually makes me sane, because I have something to see. I have a physical thing that lets me aim at a target in as far as time and destination in my life. That thing needs to be done by then, and I go and do it and schedule accordingly. So, but you also have to, again, realize that, yes, all these things I talk about, you got to take care of yourself, is definitely an important thing to remember. And use that time and that thought to pick up those hobbies that you do. You really do have to force yourself to get away from the code. And this is the thing, as I said, as an indie, I've been trapped myself, that very trap. Sun up to sundown, until, from waking up first thing in the morning to going to bed, writing code, doing something that has to do with the work that I need to do to get done and be sufficient as an indie. But what I've done over time is, another thing that you could do is just kind of keep regular hours, and just keep regular business hours so that you're not going over that. But time box yourself. That's another idea. I haven't been able to do that myself, but I do try to schedule an hour or two of things to do when I feel that I'm too tired to be more productive. So with that, I'm out of time. Thanks for listening, and maybe I'll chat with you later.
All right, so we'll take